we are going to start off on our back in corpse pose. So go ahead and make your way onto your back. I'm going to actually do the reading to begin this practice right now. So take your time, get settled in, and see if you can walk your shoulder blades underneath you so that they feel like they lie flat. When you feel this, you actually feel how your collarbones can lie across the chest. Move your head a little side to side until it feels like your nose can point straight north, up towards the sky. And situate the pelvis so that it feels like it is lying flat. The toes gently rotate outwards, turning away from each other. I want you to take a full breath in through your nose. Let it fill up into your belly, chest, and throat. And exhale, easing the breath all the way out and down. Out the throat, the chest, and the belly. Let's see if you can breathe your next breath a little bit deeper than the last. And just allow yourself to relax here. Creation is ongoing. The world begins anew each day. This is the miracle that makes not a sound, but which changes everything, if we can be quiet enough to feel it happen. When we can participate in this, we begin anew each day. Consider how the sun washes the earth with its heat, and then clouds dissipate, and grasses grow, and stones crumble when no one is looking to reveal a smoother, deeper face. It is the same with us. In a moment of realness, the clouds in our mind clear, and our passion is restored, and our walls crumble when no one is looking. It all continues and refreshes if we let it. It all renews so subtly. We think it is night that covers the world, but everything living is recreated in that mysterious moment of rest that blankets us all. And each time you blink, if you pause to let your heart flutter with nothing but air to flutter about, each time you open your eyes, you can begin again. It's true. This is the moment of resurrection, the opening of our eyes. As you lie here, breathing deeply, keep your eyes closed and pray to see everything again for the first time. Breathe slowly. And now open your eyes and enter your life again as a pilgrim. Welcome to your final practice today. With your next in-breath, stretch the arms up and overhead. Reach long throughout the entire body. I want you to see if you can feel a little bit of a diagonal reach. So reaching out through your right fingertips and left toes. Good, and then release. And then left fingertips and right toes. Just alternating the stretch. Do this again. Right fingertips and left toes. And then left fingertips and right toes. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Good. And gently scoop the knees into your chest. Wrap the hands around. Drag everything in towards your body. And just rock side to side, massaging out your low back. Good. Return back to stillness. Open your knees out wide and bring the soles of the feet up towards the sky. Happy baby pose. Grab a hold of whatever you can. Maybe you're grabbing a hold of the outsides of the feet, the ankles or shins, and then rock your baby side to side. Massaging out the back. And see if you can get your tail to get heavy. Pressing it towards the ground. And then as you're rocking your baby, dip down through your right knee, plunge it to the floor, and I want you to straighten out your left leg. Big stretch, working into that hamstring and left inner groin. Good. Bend your left knee, come back to your baby, and then dip your left knee down, extend through your right leg, reaching out through your right heel. Good. Another full breath here. And bend your knee and back into your happy baby, rocking side to side. Bring it back into stillness. Draw the legs together. Cross your right thigh over your left thigh. So those inner thighs are squeezing. Open the arms out wide into a T shape. You're going to let the knees tip all the way over to the left. Look out over your right fingertips. Give yourself a nice twist here. Wrapping your rib cage towards the right, your hips to the left. Draw the navel in towards your spine and look out over your right fingertips. Good. Inhale, lift the knees back up through center. Untangle the legs. You're going to change the crossing. So now left is over the right, and let the knees tip over to the right. Look to the left. I feel your left lung dropping towards the floor a little bit more with every exhalation. And inhaling, lifting the knees back up through center. Untangle the legs again, and I want you to extend the heels up towards the sky. Big stretch at the back of the legs. Good. And then you're going to open the legs out wide into this V shape. Okay, we're going to play around here. So I want you to point through your toes and then flex at the ankles. The heels are pressing up and away. And now grab the insides of your thighs, rotate those down towards the ground. Yeah. So they're rotating up and towards your face in this general direction. Recline straddle. You're going to see a lot of this shape later on through this practice, and you're also going to see a lot of this crossing of the legs too. Good. Another full breath in. Deep breath out. Good. Bend your knees. Draw the legs together and then tip all the way over to your right side. Press hands into the floor, extend top leg, and ease your way up to a comfortable seat. All right, let's bring the feet together, knees wide into our bound angle, cobbler's pose. Okay, grabbing a hold of the front of the shins, press the knees towards the ground. Inhale, lift up tall. Exhale, rotate forward, moving through the front of the sit bones. Exhale, and round to the spine, tipping it back. Inhale up. Exhale, tipping forward and down. Inhale up. Exhale, rocking it forward and back. So really feeling how this movement is initiated from the pelvis. Inhale up. Keep the length as you exhale, tip forward. Inhale up. Exhale, scoop and round it back and in. Good. Inhale up. Exhale, forward and down. Inhale up. And exhale, rounding it back. Good. Inhaling up nice and tall. I want you to reach the arms all the way up towards the sky, lifting up. Interlace your fingers, point to the index, reaching up to the fingertips. Good, and then exhale, bring your hands together at your heart center. Interlace your fingers, press the palms forward, locking through those elbows, and bring the arms up by your ears. Good, another full breath in here. And exhale, gently release, let the hands come all the way down to the ground. Good. Scoop the hands behind the knees. You're going to let those knees tip all the way over towards the right. You're going to have yourself at a slight diagonal. So we're going to do a little Bharadvajasana twist just to begin the practice. I want you to bring your right hand behind you, look across, and look over that left shoulder. For this particular posture, for this variation, I want you to push down through your outer right leg and lift up with your left butt cheek. Okay, so you're lifting up. Traditionally in the posture, we stay more vertical. Good. Sit down, lift the knees and tip them over to the other side. Squeeze that right butt cheek and lift up from here. Looking over your left shoulder. Good. Lower the hip down. And I want you to cross up those ankles or shins. You're going to make your way up onto all fours, coming into your tabletop position. Hands and knees, please. Remembering that in your tabletop, you're engaging through your core, so your back is long and flat, just like a tabletop. But a lot of the structure is happening from underneath, which is our belly muscles. Let's inhale and draw the belly down. Lift the tail and crown up into your cow. Exhale, round your spine into your cat. Inhale to your cow, lengthening and reaching the heart forward, collarbones wide. Exhale, round the spine into your cat. Tucking the chin in. Inhale, opening up, cow. Exhale, cat. And inhale, last one. Exhale to your cat. Good. Inhale to a neutral spine. You're going to exhale, curl the toes under and send it back, downward facing dog. For your down dog, we're going to do a little variation. I want your toes to hang off the edges of the mat, so the feet are going to be rather wide. Okay, so in comparison to what we traditionally do. And I want you to lift up onto your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees, pitch your hips way back. Good. Inhale, straighten out the legs. Exhale, the heels drop towards the floor. Inhale, lifting up, tippy toes, and then exhale, bending your knees, pitching your hips way back. Good. Inhale, straighten out the legs. Exhale, the heels towards the floor. And last one, inhale, up on tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, straightening out the legs. And exhale, the heels come down. Good. Lower the knees to the floor. Spin the toes towards each other. Sit back into your child's pose. Forehead rest on the mat. Breathing into your belly and letting that belly expand into the insides of your thighs so it goes out and pushes up against your legs. Good, then rise up onto all fours, curl the toes under and send it back, downward facing dog. Walk your feet forward to the top of the mat and come into standing forward fold. Bend your knees enough so belly is touching onto the thighs and let the head hang down. Good, and you're standing forward fold, anchor down into your feet, especially keeping that weight in your toes. Round your spine and roll yourself all the way up. Stacking the hips above ankles, head above shoulders, gazing out in front of you with your drishti focused on something out that's not moving. And even though we're in our mountain pose, we still maintain that drishti. We find that visual focus locked in on something out in front of us. So take another moment here to breathe and know that our mountain pose can be in this shape with our arms down by our sides. In this traditional form, we can also have a slight variation with our hands at our heart into this Anjali Mudra or prayer shape. All right, so let's begin with our sun salutations. We're going to do 4 rounds of our classical sun salutations. And I want you to focus on being able to identify the name of the pose and the sequence that we're coming into it. So I'll go through the first round and add a little bit of additional information, but the next few rounds will be just identifying the name and the posture and what that looks like. All right, so let's start off in our mountain pose. Feet are hips distance, coming into this template of all postures in terms of energy and alignment. And with your next in-breath, reach the arms all the way up, upward hand salute, lifting up tall. Exhale, diving forward, standing forward fold. Bend your knees and as the belly touches onto thighs. Relax your head and neck. Inhale, right foot steps back into lunge. Hips down, heart lifts, reaching back through your right heel as much as you're lengthening forward through your left knee. Exhale, left foot steps back, downward facing dog. Good. Inhale to come forward into your plank position, shoulders over your wrists. Keep those legs actively working. Then exhale, knees, chest, and chin come to the ground. Elbows hug in tightly to the body. Inhale, hips down, tops the feet to the ground. Lift the heart up and see if you can let the head come along for the ride. Cobra. Exhale, lower and send it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between the hands, right foot steps forward all the way. Press back through your left heel as your right knee goes forward, lunge. Exhale, left foot forward, standing forward, fold, head relaxes down. Inhale, coming up with a flat back, upward hand salute. And exhale to mountain pose. Inhale, upward hand salute. Exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, left foot back to lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, look between the hands, left foot forward, lunge. Exhale, right foot forward, standing forward, fold. Inhale, upward hand salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, upward hand salute. Exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, right foot back for lunge. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot forward, lunge. Exhale, left foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, upward hand salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, upward hand salute. Exhale, standing forward fold. Inhale, left foot back, lunge. Exhale, right foot back, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot steps forward, lunge. Exhale, right foot forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, upward hand salute. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale, bring the arms up. Interlace your fingers. Point through the index, if you can reach up nice and tall. And then exhale over to the right, stretching out into your standing half moon pose. Big side bend stretch here. Inhale, coming up. And then exhale over to the other side. See if you can press down through the balls of the feet, engaging through your inner thighs, squeezing them together. Inhale, pull yourself back up. Exhale, fold in half, hinge from the hips and take it all the way down to the ground. Inhale, you're going to step your left foot back into lunge. Hips are down, chest lifts up. Plant your left hand on the floor, right hand on top of the knee. Good, coming into that nice lunge twist. You're going to plant the right hand on the floor, walk the hands to the left, coming into a standing wide leg forward fold. So I'm not going to show you the backside anymore. Toes are going to rotate in, heels are pressing away, legs are straight in this kind of triangular shape. I don't want to confuse you guys, but this is standing wide leg forward fold. Keep the weight forward into your toes. Good. So eventually the crown of the head will touch down to the ground. Maybe you pop up into your headstand from there. Next year, right? Good. Hands come to the ground. Lift yourself up. You're going to walk your hands around over to that same right leg again. So moving towards the front edge of the mat. Bend your front knee, sink down through your hips. And now we're going to watch your toes out a little bit wider. Lower your left knee down to the mat. If you need the extra cushion, roll up the outside of the mat and then bring your knee down. Good. And then come into your lizard pose. So feel free to grab your block. If coming down onto your elbows and forearms is a little bit too much. Now, Slater, with this one, I want your left leg to be as far back behind you as possible. So it's less boxy and kneeling. It's more of a deep, deep lunging shape. But lizard is really getting that left knee as far back behind you, and that'll allow you to get down onto your elbows and forearms a little bit closer too. I'm going to use my block today. So right now in lizard, my elbows are coming to the floor. And I'm along the inside of my right leg. Good. Press the hands into the floor. Gently lift yourself up. Back toes are going to curl under. Lift the back knee. Good. And now I want you to step your right foot back, downward facing dog. You're going to take a moment. You're going to need a moment, especially that left hip opening up as it was. Inhale, come forward into your plank. And then exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale to locust, interlace your fingers, lift the chest, shoulder blades squeezing, inner thighs hugging together. Exhale, lower down and send it back, downward facing dog. Good. From your down dog, inhale, left leg up towards the sky, back behind you. Exhale, left foot steps forward between your thumbs, hips sink down, chest lifts up. Plant the right hand and then stack your left hand on top of the knee. Move into the twist. Good. Another full breath here as you rotate from the rib cage. See if you can keep your hips static as the rib cage spins around towards the left. Good. Left hand comes down to the ground. Walk the hands to the right. Spin the toes in, standing wide leg forward fold again. So when we were doing this on our back, we were doing this in this reclined straddle position. And we had that deep flexion. So we pointed our toes and then we found that deep flexion into those ankles. And you felt how that deepened the stretch in the back of the legs. Now the same idea here. If we push into our toes, you're going to notice that weight goes back. Your hips travel behind your heels. So you're not going to be feeling as much of a stretch with that one. So see if you can pull your shins towards your feet. You're going to tip that weight forward into your toes and really feel that deep stretch into the hamstrings, the groin, all of the fun areas of the body. And then press the hands into the ground. Walk the hands around towards your left foot yet again. And this time we're coming into our lunge. So heel toe the foot off to the side. Lower right knee down to the mat, as far back behind you as you can manage with your hips. If you want your block, placing it along the inside of the leg. And hips sink forward and down. Good. Start to breathe. We're opening up these hips. Relax through the mouth and jaw. All right, lizard. Let's come on out. Press the hands into the floor, curl the back toes under, send the left foot back, downward facing dog. Good. Again, come forward into your plank. Lower yourself down to the floor. Inhale to locust. Lift the heart, lift the legs, squeeze through the shoulder blades, inner thighs hugging together. And then exhale, lower down. And this time you just send it back into your child's pose. Hips go way back on top of your heels, forehead rests towards the mat. Breathing into your back body, letting head rest down. And then rising up onto all fours again, curl the toes under, press back, downward facing dog. Look between those hands. I want you to walk your feet forward to the top edge of the mat. Let the head drop down. Good. And then heel toe your feet out a little bit wider. Let the toes turn out towards the sides. Bend your knees, sink your hips, and come into a squat. Good. Hips are dropping down low. You can use your hands to come into that prayer shape. You can also keep your fingertips on the floor if that's going to stop you from going forward. But I want you to feel like the weight is going into your heels. You can even try to pull your toes up off the mat. Good. And then send your shins apart. They're moving away from each other. You know how my hips hiked up a little bit more when I did that. I'm not just sinking into my joints, but I'm actively working through them. Good. Hands to the floor. Lift the hips up. Turn the toes forward. Hang the upper body down. Round your spine like a cat, rolling yourself all the way up to stand. And bring the head up last. Let's bring those big toes together, heels slightly spread. Bend your knees, sink your hips, and find your way into eagle pose. So after all of that wide leg opening, we're going to get into a lot of squeezing and wringing out. So put the weight into your right foot. I'll slide back for you guys a little bit. Put the weight into your right foot. Lift the left leg up and cross the leg up and over. Toes can remain on the floor here. Take the arms up towards the sky, and then sweep the arms down, stacking the right arm on top of left and wrapping the wrist a second time. Sit down into the pose, and maybe taking left toes up and wrapping the toes behind the calf. Eagle pose. I want you to fix your drishti, that visual focus on something that's not moving out in front of you. Breathe into your body. And breathe it fully out. Breathe in again. Maybe the fingertips lift up a little bit higher. Elbows are reaching off of the chest. And then slowly untangle the arms. Lift yourself up tall and release the foot down to the ground. All right, before we move into the other side, I want you to put the weight into your right foot and come into tree pose. Left foot along the inside, hands come to your heart. And just notice how that squeezing of inner thighs may help to encourage you to press your left foot into your right thigh more. Lift up taller here. And then gently release. All right, bend your knees again. Make your way into the second side for eagle. Bend your knees, sink your hips, reach the arms up. Put the weight into your left foot and lift right leg up and let the toes come down to situate the arms. Let's drop the arms down, left arm on top of the right, wrap at the wrist and reach the fingertips to the sky. Lift that right foot up and maybe wrap the toes behind the ankle or calf. Sit down. Like you're crouching in your little eagle nest. Feeling your shoulder blades wrapping around the body. See if you can even spin your thumbs closer to your face. So they might want to veer off towards the left. And see if you can bring them towards the center of your face. And you get that deeper twisting, almost that screwing sensation. Good. Another full breath here. Hug those inner thighs. And untangle the arms, lift up tall, and slowly release. Moving right into our tree pose on this side, putting the weight into your left foot. Right foot comes up and in along the inner thigh. Hands come together at your heart center. Set your drishti up to focus on something out in front of you. Come into this moment as if it's the first time that you've experienced this, because it is. Let your breath steady. And gently release, taking that right foot back down to the mat. Good, let's inhale all the way at the top of the mat, reaching up nice and tall. This time I want you to come up onto your tippy toes, reaching, 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 squeezing from those inner thighs. And then exhale, the heels come down to the ground, hinge forward, coming all the way down, standing forward fold. Good, inhale to a flat back, lift halfway up, weight is in the toes. Exhale, fold in half, grab a hold of the ankles if you can. Bend your knees, lower your hips down, and come onto your seat. All right. So for these, I'd like for you to, let's go ahead and start off with the right foot tucked in. Left leg is going to go nice and wide, coming into revolved head to knee pose. Bring your left elbow just above the knee and reach your right arm up and over towards the left toes. Revolved head to knee pose. So feeling this nice side bend, stretching position, anchoring down through that right sit bone. You can feel that deepening sensation, especially in that QL that helps to secure that low back and spine. Good, inhale, lift yourself up. Now you're gonna take your right foot out nice and wide, coming into your seated wide leg forward fold. So again, we want to feel how the toes pointing forward is not gonna give us a stretch in the back of the legs. It looks pretty for dance, but not necessarily for stretching. So keep those toes pulled back in, your heels lengthen out in front of you, spin those inner thighs up, and then walk the hands forward. Seated wide leg forward fold. Work to the level that feels appropriate for you. And if you start to feel like a little bit of that, like underneath tugging, you may want to back off a little bit more, not going into it too much. That's that attachment site for the tendon. And we don't want to pull on that too much. Again, we want to feel that there's definitely going to be some groin opening that's happening here, but mostly feeling it in the belly of the muscle. So you may have to bend your knees a bit more or just back off of the posture so there doesn't feel like as much tugging in that area. Good, then pressing the hands into the floor, lifting yourself up. Bend your left knee now, revolved head to knee pose on this side. You're gonna bring your right elbow just above the knee, left arm comes up and over, big stretch through that side body. I'm just noticing what your head and neck are doing. If your head is dropping down, see if you can keep your head so it just continues that same type of smooth curving of the spine. We don't just feel that the head is kind of broken off here. The thumb spins back behind us as we get that external rotation to the shoulder, and then lifting up through those ribs a little bit more. Good. And inhale, lifting yourself all the way up. Coming into our cow face pose. So I want you to bring your right knee so it lines up with your belly button. Left knee is going to cross up and over, and you're going to feel those knees stacking here. All right. Right arm reaches up towards the sky. Bend the elbow and pat yourself on the back. Okay, so still on that same right shoulder. Bring your left arm out wide. Palm is facing away from you, thumb points down, and you're going to bring that arm down. Bend the elbow and see if you can slide the back of the hand, so the top of the hand, the dark meat side, up the back, and see if you can join those fingertips. If you have that strap or towel, the strap or towel goes in the top hand to help make this pose a little bit more accessible. Remember that we're not trying to pull down with the left hand, but we're trying to choke up with that left hand. We get a little bit closer with those fingers, which ultimately in time, we can eventually close the gap. Good, lifting up nice and tall here. Good, and gently release the arms. All right, from here, I want you to grab a hold of this top knee with both of your hands. Squeeze it into your chest. Kick right foot forward. Left foot is on the floor. So moving into our half Lord of the Fishes pose. Left fingertips are behind you, and then right arm can either hug onto the knee or move to the outside of the knee. Maybe bent elbow if you choose. I'm going to show you this from this side so you see exactly what this looks like. So again, sometimes that tendency is to get really short in the front of our spine and we kind of round into it. See if you can lift up, 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 anchoring down through that left sit bone, and then bring your chin so it's parallel. But I like to even imagine that I'm balancing a book on my head. Sometimes that kind of gives that same regal spine that we're looking for in half Lord of the Fishes pose, Matsyendrasana. Good. Inhale and rotate your heart back through center. Good. So we're in this shape right here. Lean back, untangle the legs. You're going to change the crossing. Good. So this time you've got your left leg crossed out in front of you underneath you. Right leg sits on top. Now again, you want this right butt cheek to be on the floor. So you can even hook your thumb into the hip crease. Anchor it down to the ground. You're going to really get that juiciness of that stretch. I kind of see this pose as almost like a seated version almost of like our eagle pose, right? Like the legs, how they like get really intense with this deep crossing and twisting. All right, lifting up nice and tall, bring your left arm up, bend the elbow and pat yourself on the back. Right arm reaches out wide, palm faces away, thumb points down, and then sliding that hand up the back and working into that stretch. Again, grabbing onto your strap to help make the pose more accessible. Reaching up through the elbow, giving yourself a little bit more of that length through the spine. So we're leaning back into the sit bones. And as we were doing on our back earlier with the arms extended out overhead, and we're in this kind of reaching position, right, through the arms, you notice how your rib cage kind of flared out a little bit. See if you can engage that rib cage, pull it back into that right hand, and get that deeper stretch in through the spine. Another full breath in here. And gently release. Scoop the hands underneath just that top knee. Lean back. Kick your left foot out and bring that foot onto the floor. Right fingertips behind you. Left arm reaches up. Exhales, you bring the arm to the outside of the leg into the twist. Good. Gazing over your back shoulder. Again, we're still feeling how tall we can get in the spine. Half Lord of the Fishes pose. And not to be confused with Lord of the Flies. Good. Good. One last breath here. And then rotating heart and through center. I want you to cross at your ankles and shins. And we're going to come back up onto all fours. And we're going to make our way into our puppy pose. So I want you to feel this nice stretch. Walk the hands out in front, lengthen out through the arms, let the heart melt down. And feel the shoulder blades come together across the back. As you bring your forehead or your chin, even allow your heart to melt down to the ground. It's a very vulnerable position, but can be extremely freeing. Good. Pull the navel in, walk the hands back a little bit as you reach up and sit back into your child's pose. So now just changing the shape of the spine. You're going to circle your arms down by your sides, coming into the traditional form of it, and just allow the shoulder blades to separate. Slip the hands to either sides of your knees. You're going to press down and lift yourself up. And then make your way over to a wall. If you prefer to come into corpse pose over legs up the wall pose, you are certainly welcome to do so. I'm not going to be the yoga police and arrest you for not doing these poses. Remember that as you're coming into your legs up the wall pose, that you can do so by coming off to the side. And as you're along the side, you're going to lie down on your side, roll onto your back, and then bring the legs up from there. You have your variations for your arms, which feel most appropriate and nurturing for you. And just closing your eyes. And just letting the experience of being here take over. And see if you can notice what is new. Maybe you feel new openings, new sensations, perhaps new thoughts. And as you close your eyes, blinking away all that needs to be released. Continue to rest here with breath. And just feel the residue of previous experiences just start to melt away. From where you are, if your legs are up the wall, gently slide the legs down, letting the knees curl into your chest. You're in your corpse pose. Give yourself a full body stretch first, so arms reaching up and away, then guiding your knees into your chest. And from where you are, take a moment and just flutter your eyes open and see the world anew. Gently curl over to one side, press hands into the floor, and lift yourself up to a comfortable seat. And so finding your way into that easy sitting position or a simple cross-legged, whichever feels most accurate. And then bringing those hands together at your heart. Bow your head softly forward. The light within me bows to the light within you. Namaste.